Hello, my name is Mabel. I'm a sourcing agent from Guangzhou, China. As you all know, I help business to source products from China. And a lot of you who are watching this video right now, either doing online business or having a physical store. And you know, Amazon is a big part of online business. Today, I invited a very special guest to talk about how to sell on Amazon. If you're watching this video right now, subscribe to the channel. And let's welcome Dano Falk. Hello, Dano.
Hello, Mabel. Hi, Mabel. Good to see you.
So Dano has a lot of experience on Amazon selling, and he's original from Germany, and now he is living in Malaysia.
That's correct, yeah. Yeah, I moved to Malaysia in 2011, 10 years ago almost. Yeah, and I enjoy being here. It's warm here. I can ride my bike, and it's a good place to be for me.
Wow.
And I also wanted to say thank you for having me here. We worked together previously, but when I still was selling on Amazon. I sold my business last year, and before that we used to cooperate, and Mabel used to help me a lot with translations, with sourcing, and whenever something I needed help with someone on the ground in China, Mabel was there for me. So yeah. Thanks again for that.
No worries. And yeah, and I know that you have a very successful business on Amazon. Can you tell us a little bit of your business?
Yeah, I started the business in 2014. And those days the Apple Watch came out, and I was very excited about Apple products and selling Apple accessories. So I started actually with an Apple product accessory brand. And I built it up, and I sourced many more products around this area. So it was, it was a proper brand, and I learned all the things you need to learn, and made all the mistakes, and had my successes, and had my account shut down. So I've done the whole journey from starting the Amazon business and growing it and selling it eventually last year. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So today, we're going to talk about the first step of selling the product in Amazon, right?
Yeah, so there's like a big picture of how this whole product listing journey is, and the product journey. And today I want to talk about the listing itself, which is like the centerpiece, which is your online real estate on Amazon. And what is the best way, in my opinion, to set it up and to make it work in terms of conversion and ranking.
Wow, that would be great. I'm sure a lot of our audience are interested in it.
Yeah, I hope so. So let me see, where is my screen? Yeah, it's this one.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is the presentation I prepared for today. It's the product launch checklist, and it's more about optimizing your listing to convert and rank. So your product will sell well, and your ranking efforts will not be wasted. That's
the very first step of before you launch your product. So Dano prepared a checklist for us. So let's hear about it and learn.
Yeah, let's go through my checklist. The next slide here is I'm talking about myself, just a quick introduction. I think you mentioned already that I'm a German graphic designer who started selling on Amazon 2014, and I sold my business in last year. And my email address, if you want to reach out to me, just so you know who's talking. And so this is the big picture of the Amazon product launch process. So first we start with product selection, and then we do sourcing and manufacturing and shipping. And these all are steps where Mabel can be of great help.
Yeah.
And then as soon as our product is on the way, that's the latest time when we should start thinking about our product listing creation. And as soon as our listing is created and our inventory is in the warehouse, then we go to the next step, which is ranking, reviews generation, and eventually to expanding and branding our store on Amazon. So today we're focusing on the fourth step of this entire process, and we're looking like on all the things you have to do when you create your listing. So you have to do your keyword research, so you do your product title, your images, bullet points, product descriptions, and the backend search terms. So this is like the big picture of what we're going to cover today. Are you clear so far, Mebo?
Yes, sounds good, because I mostly like focus on sourcing, and I have not a lot of knowledge on Amazon selling, so that would be great for me to learn as well. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So you can learn a few things maybe also from today's presentation. That's good. But yeah, I mean, these are very different fields of work. I mean, sourcing, I don't know so much about sourcing, and especially when it comes to Chinese culture and, you know, how to talk to manufacturers. Mebo is the expert, but I take over when, you know, things are happening in Amazon itself. So let's go to this process of listing creation. So the first step is to do the keyword research. I mean, this we have done some of this most likely when we have selected our product and sourced the product. So we will roughly know what is the competition like, you know, what kind of niche we are in, what is roughly the search volume. But if we haven't done the whole research, this is the time to really dig into it and make it complete, because everything else is a result of our keyword research. So we only know what to do with our listing when we know exactly what keywords are we focusing on and what keywords we want to rank for, and which will probably be the best converting keywords. In order to do that, yeah.
So, so you mentioned about 10 keywords.
Yeah, this is just like a rule of like a ballpark number, and I mean we can source or we can research and uncover many more keywords, but we should have at least 10, because between those 10 there will be most likely some very competitive ones. You know, like dog leash, you know, which is a very general and very competitive keyword, which is not a good idea to start with. But then we will have all the other keywords which are related to dog leash, like a long dog leash or retractable dog leash or a brown or leather or a fabric dog leash. And that's where we can get much more specific with our product to market match. So if we sell, like, let's say a black fabric retractable dog leash, then this would be probably the most effective keyword to start with, because then we have the best match of buying intention of a customer and of our product. So when the customer is actually typing into Amazon, I want a black fabric retractable dog leash, he is very specific about what he wants. So so his buying intent is very high. And if we can catch him with our product and match to his search, which is exactly what he's looking for, that's when our listing converts the best, and that's where we want to be. And that's why when we want to have this keyword in the title, and we also want to rank for it. Okay. So doing keyword research is very essential. So we need to figure out which are, you know, the competitive ones, the big ones, which we can still go after later with our product journey. When we are already ranking well and selling well, we can like climb up the ladder of going from the long tail, very specific ones, to the more general ones. But in the beginning, we need to focus to as specific as possible with some decent search volume. You know, so if we are very, very specific and nobody is looking for this search term, that's like the other end of it, where we don't want to be. Let's say if there is a black fabric dog leash retractable for Dalmatians, and the search volume for this key search term is like 10 per month, then this is also not a good place to be, because the volume is not there. Because, you know, even if we rank number 1, the best thing we could ever do would be to sell 10 units in a month, and that's not enough.
So can you tell us a number, what is a good volume?
I think like 1,000 would be like a minimum that we would like to see. So that would give us, you know, if we expect to like make 20% of sales of 1,000, so we can sell 200 units in a month, and that's a decent beginning. That's something we would be happy to have as a ranking keyword.
Yeah.
And there are all these tools which are mentioned here, which we can use to help us. I mean, some of them are free, some of them are paid. I mean, most sellers know about these tools. Sonar is a nice free tool, but it doesn't give you exact numbers. It just gives you like a 1 to 5 star rating on the keyword.
Yeah.
If you want exact numbers, you have to go to Helium 10 or KeywordInspector or Merchant Words. So they give you like more specific data, but you have to pay for that. But I guess you cannot run your business without having this kind of intelligence and research tools. So it's kind of a must. But yeah, this is what I expect people to do before they even start sourcing their product, that they roughly know this is exactly where I want to be in this niche, and I want to target these keywords. So all this should be more or less in place when we get here to the point where we create our listing.
Okay. Yeah.
So
they need to see the product. They need to do a research on the products that they have in mind.
Yeah, of course, and especially the competition. And I mean, ideally, when you pick a product, you want to fill a gap. You see that there's like 5,000 people searching for black fabric retractable dog leashes, and there are only 3 listings which were selling this product, or maybe 10 listings. But you want to find a gap where the product you're looking at is in over demand and like under supply. And so that's why your whole product journey will normally start with a search term or a very specific product description.
Okay.
So as soon as we have our keywords together, let's say we have 10. I mean, I would recommend to focus on 10 main keywords, because it gets very messy when you start to want to rank for 50 keywords or to include 50 keywords in your listing. That's almost impossible. Mm-hmm. Unless you use this backend search terms, but that's a different story. But to create the listing itself, even on the part that people actually see, we want to focus on something between 5 and 15 keywords, which are reasonable to include in your title and in your bullet points and your description. Because otherwise you will be keyword stuffing and nobody would read. It would not be readable. So especially for the title, we have around 200 characters max. And we want to use as much of this as possible. And we want, obviously, we want to put the most relevant keywords into the title, mm-hmm. starting with the most relevant of all. So if I figure out that, let's say, the black leather dog leash is my most relevant keyword, where I think that it's a good balance of search volume and not too much competition, then that would be the one I put in it at the beginning of my title together with my brand. So it would be Dano's dog leashes and then the black retractable leather dog leash, something like that. So I mean, you get the drift. So it's about prioritizing the beginning of the title and then still keeping it readable so people can read what it is and it's not just keyword stuffing. But that's the title obviously matters most, and that's we have to spend most of our time to figure out what is the best possible title to do, and also to not repeat keywords, obviously. So it's Amazon will there is no benefit from repeating keywords. So when Amazon has kind of registered this keyword that you used, there's no point to putting it again. So just be mindful of using every keyword one time. All right.
Can you give us an example of like repeat keywords?
I don't have an example prepared, but I mean, I think it's quite clear what it means. If you say like black dog leash and then you put it twice in the title and then you put it in the description bullet points, you don't need to have to say it doesn't help to say black dog leash like several times in your listing. It's enough to just put it once if that's one of your keywords.
But how about using another word, like similar word to describe it, but not exactly? I mean, like the meaning is the same, but like use these different words to describe?
Yeah, of course. I mean, this would be a different keyword. So, I mean, of course, our keywords will all have something in common. I mean, the word dog will be inside most likely, unless you have like canine or any other synonyms. But as soon as we have our 5 keywords, there will be, or our 10 keywords, let's say, there will be overlap. So there will be something like dog leash, and dog will most likely appear in all of them, but there will be in different constellations. They have different things to it, like, I don't know, like long, short, retractable, like, I don't know, stable, stuff like that, like describers or other synonyms, which we will only know after we have done the research. Then we will know what are the most relevant keywords, and then we try to not like repeat. If we have used one, we will go to the next one. But there will be overlap, as I said. Yeah, so that's the first thing. And also regarding the product title, there's one quite relevant strategy, I think, to use is to put a dash after the first 5 words. Because there is a thing called canonical URL. So this is how Amazon will store your listing link in the background. So this will be like your general link that goes to your listing, and this general link is always it's constructed out of Amazon.com and then / and then there will be 5 words, and then there will be this DP and then your ASIN, something like that. So this will be like your canonical URL. And I think we can even see it here. And it's a bit small to read, but yeah, it says, like the example here, if you go to your source code, to the source of the page, and you just search for canonical, at some point you will find this piece of code which says link rel is equal canonical, and then the link itself, which in this example it says amazon.com/ petrol nail grinder stepless speed, and then /dp, and then / your ASIN, and that's your canonical URL. So if you do not use the dash after 5 words or no dash at all, Amazon would just take random words from your title and put it in there, which is not optimal, because ideally you want to put your most relevant search terms into your canonical URL, because it will help you to rank outside of Amazon, like on Google, for example. So you have a much better SEO situation when you have your relevant search terms in your canonical URL, and that's why I recommend to put these 5 words, like normally it would be your brand, and then the 5 most relevant search terms or keywords, and then a dash, and that's how you tell Amazon, okay, this should be my canonical URL. And if you don't tell Amazon, it will just do whatever, and sometimes the canonical URL can come out quite clumsy.
So after the dash, would that be like a certain amount of words would be suitable after the dash, or you can do anything?
After the dash, you just fill up the rest of the 200 characters you have left. So in total you have 200. So you just fill them up, and you just focus on the first 5 and spend some extra time on the first 5 words to make them especially relevant, because for anything that happens after this, those 5 words will be the most powerful ranking keywords that you will have on your listing. So not only for the canonical, but in general, I mean, that's how your listing starts, and that's what would be the most relevant search terms for your listing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So that's the canonical URL. And the second tip for the product listing is also to consider the mobile view. Because more than 50% of shoppers are using their mobile devices to shop on Amazon, and we should not disregard, how they actually see the search results. And if you open your search results on Amazon, and this is your search results page, as you can see, the titles are shortened quite a bit. So it depends a bit on a niche, but I think it's around 80 or 90 characters which are left from your title. So that's another reason, to spend especially extra time on this first part of your title, because that's the only part you see on mobile. The rest of your title is not even visible. So if, to get the attention and to get the best customer match it's also something to consider, to look on what your listing looks on mobile and what does the search result look on mobile when your product is showing up in the search results. So I think that's the things I wanted to say about the product title, the listing title. And it is obviously the most, so the most relevant parts of your listing are definitely the title and your images. So if I had to pick like two most important parts, these are obviously title and images. So in the next section, I will discuss the images, and it comes in handy that I am also a graphic designer, so I know a bit about resolution and graphic design. So this is what I also use as a skill in my business. And this is also like what I see from a graphic designer standpoint to be relevant in your product images. So in general, you have 7 slots. So I think all categories, there might be an exception, but from what I know, every category, every listing has 7 slots available in your product. So that's what you see on the product page itself. So obviously we need to use all 7 slots and to bring across as much visual information and for the buyer as possible. If you have uploaded a video, the 7th slot will be taken by the video, which is a great thing to have. So if you have brand registry and if you are able to upload a video, I definitely recommend to do that, because a video says more than a picture. And but how to create it is a different story. But it is very beneficial to have a video in the 7th slot. But then of course you only have 6 images left plus 1 video. So that's
Yeah, I think a lot of people prefer to see videos.
Oh yeah, I agree. So videos,
I don't see a lot of videos on Amazon, so actually it's a good niche, like video.
Yeah. So I think most buyers, especially heavy shoppers, they can already identify, okay, this listing has a video, and I think that's already like a perk. It's an advantage to have a video. So they prefer to watch something to see this product being used. This has much more information and is much more tangible than just to look at pictures. So obviously, videos are very helpful and recommended to be used. After these 7 images on the listing, we have actually another 2. So in total, we can upload up to 9 images, but the remaining 2 will only be visible when somebody clicks on the image. So if you click on this on any of the images, there will be like a pop-up will come out where you only can see images, and then you can scroll through all these 9. So in total, we actually have 9 images available. And if you have more to say in terms of the images, of course, it's no harm to use all 9 slots. And on this page, you can see you can also select videos. So you can actually go there and select between several videos if you have them, or the images, which you can see here. Okay.
Yeah.
So the image size is also very important. I've seen many listings which don't get this right, and so the basic size should be 1,300 by 1,300. Some people use 1,500, which is a very high resolution. But to me, the best compromise to have like a very high and crisp, high resolution, crisp image, and at the same time not to be too huge, because when it's very, very big, you have to scroll around a lot to see the entire image in this detail preview. So I think 1,300 square is the best compromise. But just to be sure, I also recommend to go to your competitor's listing on page 1 and simply download the image, which is very easy to do. You just click on the image and then you right click and you download the image, and then you can look it up on your system. So you simply check what exactly is the resolution. So in this case, I think we're 1,240 by 1,100 something. So it's a bit of an odd size, but that's what this image is, and so it's good to know. So if we check like the 5-10 competitors and just check the images, it will give us a good impression of what they're using. but you cannot go wrong by using 1300 by 1300.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's these are the basics about images. Then I would like to go to the the images one by one in the slots. So the first image of your listing, it should be it must be on white background. That's Amazon TOS. It has to be on white background. And I would show, first of all, I would use the entire frame, because what I see many sellers doing, you have this frame of 1300 by 1300, but then they put the product somewhere in the middle and they don't use the entire space, which is really a waste, because then you're simply wasting space on your listing. And you're not extending it to the full size. So as you can see with this image, it touches all the edges, right? It touches here, there. So there's no way to make this product bigger. So just make it as big as possible without cutting off anything, and then include and then you can do stuff like showing it in use. Like here, this one is showing how the AirPods are charging, how the phone is charging. So this is not just the product, it actually shows how the product is being used. Yeah. That's an option. Sometimes it's not, it's a trade-off, because of course you are hiding part of the product here. Yeah. But most people want to see how it's being used rather than the product itself. So normally, I would recommend to show the product being used, but on white background, and maybe include what else is part of the package, like this adapter here. So I would show that as well. So the customer gets like the best possible first impression. Yeah. And also choose an interesting angle. Don't just do like the shot like from the top, just pointing the camera down. So I would also spend some time to find the most interesting angle to put the product into a good position. Like I think this one is quite okay. Yeah, like this one, it shows the how you can use it, and the whole package already. It was in the package. Yeah. So what's included? This one is not showing the packaging itself. Some sellers are actually showing the packaging on the first image. But I mean, that's another strategy which if you have really beautiful packaging, and then it might make sense, to spend some of your first image showing your box, your gift box. But I'm not sure how relevant this is to a buyer, because the buyer is looking for a product, and by showing the box, you're taking away a lot of space from this. So yeah, that's a compromise. I'm not sure everybody has to decide. But but some things are like really certain, like make it as big as possible, make it obviously as beautiful as possible, and include the essential parts of what you are delivering. Like here, it's the charger and the adapter, the wall adapter, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the first image. Then we have the images 2 to 5. So for these images, my recommendation is just to treat them as if it was a magazine, as if it was some kind of, like in this case, it would be a mobile accessories magazine, and so each of these images should bring across a message about feature benefit, and showing how the product is being used. So one thing is for sure, we need humans. We need to show humans using the product, because unless you put a hand or a human, you don't have the size reference. Oh, okay. Because we simply don't know how big is this product. Even if we write it's like 3 inches or 7 inches or whatever, it's impossible for people to just get this very simple first impressions that we get if we have a human reference. If you have a human holding this thing, we know exactly how big it is. Yeah. And when we show like a happy user, like in this image number 4 here, that already speaks says a lot. So we need to show products being used. Lifestyle images, and then the second thing I'm doing is using this kind of infographic style. So I would highlight some part of the product, like in this image number 1 here. I think it's this one is highlighting the fact that you can charge 2 phones at the same time. Okay. Yeah. So I would make this fact as clear as possible, because it's not clear, you know, when somebody looks, this is a dual wireless charger. And just to bring across the fact that, you know, you can charge two phones at the same time, this is one message and one benefit we have. We want to make this very clear. So I would definitely designate one bullet point to this fact and to this benefit and feature. And I would also cross-reference it in the image. So I would create an image in this infographic style, which exactly points, you know, to where is this happening, how is this happening, and how does this benefit you. So as you can see in the lower part of the first image, you can also see like, how is this helping you? So you can actually charge two devices at the same time, and it could be an iPhone, it could be Samsung, or it could be any other. So this is, you know, like an infographic message we bring across, which I think is essential when you for images between position 2 and 5, to have this kind of mix of infographic, like getting features and benefit across, and then showing people using the product. But it also doesn't harm, you know, to put some kind of a headline, you know, like the second one says charge three devices at once, 2 wireless plus 1 USB output. So I mean, it would be good to show this image alone, but it's also nice to have some kind of a headline to tell you, to say what is this image about. So I will always add a title, add a caption, add some text which would explain, so what am I saying in this image. So here I'm saying you have 2 wireless and 1 USB charging options, and the lower one says it's now your phone is truly wireless. Well, that's just like a slogan.
Yeah.
But still, you know, it's good to show an image and then also add a caption, you know, telling people what is this about, just like any magazine would do. You know, in a magazine, in any high quality magazine, when they show an image, they will tell you what this is about. There will be a caption, or there will be a headline to it or something. So yeah, so this is how I deal with these images between 2 and 5, to make it like a high-end brochure kind of thing, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we go to image number 6. And here I like to show everything that's included. So, you know, if you have a manual, if you have a cable, you know, if you have a nice gift box, if you have whatever, if any accessories, any parts are part of this packaging, you need to tell people, you know. So you did all this work to source it, to put it together, you know, to create the packaging. But if you don't tell people explicitly, they won't know. So you can mention also things like warranty, like support. And then obviously I will show, like in this picture, we see like everything included in the package. So we do have a wall adapter, we have a cable, we have a manual, and we have an elegant gift box. So all these things need to be mentioned and need to be shown and need to be explained. Otherwise, people just don't know. So, you know, your competitor who does show will stand out. So if you have this stuff, you better show it and you better make it clear. And that's what I use image number 6 for.
Yeah, these things are so detailed and you thought about it. So that's really good.
Yeah, thanks. And then finally, image number 7, which, as I said earlier, it only shows up if you don't have a video. If you have a video, this image will show up as number 8. But then you still can negotiate. You can make this your number 6 and push 6 to number 5. So, I mean, obviously, you'll have to compromise somehow. But I also like to include one image which feeds to the, you know, to the techies. It feeds to those people who like to know the numbers. So maybe they have a little spot on their table and it's exactly like so and so many inches, and they want to know, can this product fit into this slot or not? So they need to know exactly how wide it is, how big it is. They might, and we also want to show like all the outlets and inputs and you know, so every single technical feature on this product, like all the LEDs like here and all the in and outputs, the thickness. So everything technical that is to be said about this product, I would also include in this image number 7. So people who just need to know the facts, they can see them.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so that's image number 7. And then, yeah, unless you are highly skilled, I do recommend to use professionals. So, I mean, I happen to be a graphic designer, so I didn't need help, you know, with the infographics and all that. in my business, but photography. In the beginning, I remember, standing around here in my office and taking pictures. If you have the means to hire a professional, I would definitely do that, because you can only be good at what you do every day, and you cannot become a photographer overnight, even though you wish or think so, but it's just not possible. So if you want, to get like really high-end pictures, and Amazon, is competing on a high-end profile right now. So your competitors are probably using high-end pictures, so you should too. And of course, this is like a very, very tiny fraction of the market of photographers out there, and you might know someone, but I do recommend to, hire professionals to take care of this product imaging part. Okay.
Yeah.
So the next thing would be the bullet points. The big picture here is to tell the story of your product in an emotional way. And the goal is to make the customer feel like this is the one that would solve my problem, right?
Yeah.
So we have around 200 words, or characters length, for every bullet point. So we can write, sorry, I think this is words, it should be 200 characters.
Yeah.
For each bullet point, we have 5 of them. And
so is it like you recommend to put 5 bullet points?
Oh yeah, it's just like the pictures. We should use all the space that we are given.
Yeah.
And I think, to me, when I skim through listings and I look at potential competitors or whatever, if I see bullet points being like only 3 or 4, I immediately know this is not a professional seller, because every professional seller will use 5 bullet points, because Amazon has given you this space. It's like a website. Amazon giving you like this website design that you can use, which includes 7 images, 200 characters title, and 5 bullet points. So you should use them, because there is definitely enough to say about your products and enough keywords to use, to fill up the space.
Yeah.
So that's why I would definitely use all 5 of them. And then I would focus on benefits, on solutions, rather than features. And what works well is a structure like, this product has feature, so you can benefit. So this is what the content should say most of the time. So you want to mention your feature. Let's say your dog leash is made of leather. That's a feature. But the benefit is so that it will be extra stable. Let's say that's the benefit. So something that so the customer understands, how does this feature benefit him? Because the feature itself doesn't do anything. It only is useful, and the customer can only relate to it if you explain to him how it will benefit him and how it will address the problem that he has. So if you mention a feature, explain how it solves the problem. Summarize in the beginning, and consider the skimmers. So skimmers are people who just like briefly read through. They don't read word by word. They don't read the entire content. They just look at the first 3 words maybe. So it's good to have like a little summary, or even capitalize the first 3-5 words to give to include like a small headline for this one bullet point. So if this bullet point talks about leather, then I would highlight the first 3 words, maybe capitalize them, and say that this leash is made of leather, so it will be extra sturdy, and then explain how this works, what kind of leather, why is it sturdy. So this is like every bullet point is like a mini article, which has a headline and then the explanation behind it.
So for your products, do you normally write your own bullet point, or you hire someone else to do that?
Well, if you know a good copywriter who can write for Amazon, I would definitely recommend to do that. I was doing it myself, and I found it quite tedious. It's a lot of work. I mean, when it's ready, it looks simple and clear, but you can easily spend days, on these bullet points. It can take a lot of time.
I can imagine.
And especially you have to find a good balance between search terms, like what is the last point here on the slide, you also need to include your most relevant search terms. Yeah, as a summary, I would like to say about the bullet points that it's a delicate mix between search terms and content. So we also want to include as many relevant search terms in our bullet points as possible. After the title, that's the second best place to put them, right? So we also want to utilize search terms. At the same time, we want to be readable. We want to have like emotional copy, and so it's quite an art form, to come up with the best possible bullet points, which are appealing to the reader and to the customer. And at the same time, they include the search terms, and now they do variations of the search terms. So you can easily spend a few days, just on the bullet points and the title, and it's a lot of work. And as I said, yeah, if you have someone who can help you with that, and you trust this person, then yeah, it's a good idea to outsource this.
Yeah.
And then we come to point number 5, our product description. So the first version is you don't have a brand registry, which leaves you with an HTML format product description, like we can see here in this little snapshot. So brand registry, I don't know if I need to explain, but yeah, if you have a registered trademark and then you can apply for brand registry in Amazon, and it will open up a few other options to you as a seller, and one of them is brand registry. So you can actually have like a mini website as your product description. If you don't have brand registry, then you are limited to this HTML type, which doesn't allow any images. There's no layout. It's just text. But at the same time, yeah.
So would you say most of the Amazon sellers have their own brand?
I cannot say for most, because I don't know most of them. Yeah. There are 3 million of them, but I think all the competitive niches and all, the first pages, I see most of them having a registered trademark and having A+ content, which means they have brand registry. So I think having a registered brand nowadays is almost a must. To be at the top of Amazon sellers, and for many reasons. Also, if you're planning to sell your business, that's another must. To register your trademark, which is a different story. But yeah, I think it's becoming more and more necessary and popular and also relevant, because it's not just the A+ content. Many other things you also can only do if you have a registered trademark.
Yeah. So apparently, like, it can help you to be on the top of the search. That's like one of the advantage.
Yeah, ranking is not a direct consequence of brand registry. But brand registry does help, because you can use like more tools. You can have your own storefront. You can easily upload videos. All these things come with brand registry. But let me just quickly cover what happens if you don't have brand registry. Then you have to write your product description that looks like this here, on the lower left of the screen. So it's just like an HTML text. But even if that is the case, you still can make the best of it by using a few HTML tags. Like, for example, you can use the bold tag. You can use the break tag, so your text will not just go across the entire page. On a desktop, it's kind of like be really difficult to read when there's no break at all. So if you don't have A+ content, I definitely recommend to use these break and bold tags, so you can at least you have some kind of structure of headline, and you can break off a line, and you can create something like a return, right?
Yeah.
So this is the best you can do, and there are tools online like this htmlonline.com/editor. There are tools where you can kind of optimize and simplify the process by simply putting using this editor, where you can format the text, and then it will come out with this HTML version of your copy, which you can simply copy paste into your listing, and then it will look like the one that you have formatted in a Word kind of document.
Yeah.
So this is something to make it easier to do basic formatting on an HTML product description.
So I will also put the link in the description of the video so that people can use the link.
Yeah, sure. That's definitely very useful to have this link. Yeah, I mean there are many tools like that for if you look for HTML editor, but yeah, it makes it much easier to use it as opposed to not use it.
Yeah.
Okay. So the second point is if you don't have Brand Registry 2.0, there is kind of a shortcut right now to get it. So there is this thing called the Amazon IP Accelerator program, which can give you brand registry-ish within days. So normally you would have, if you're starting with your brand, you will have to apply for your trademark, and this can take months or even a year to get your trademark registered, and it also can be rejected. So it can be quite a journey, to get to the point where you actually can apply for brand registry. But with this IP Accelerator program, you can now use one of the service providers which are featured by Amazon in this program. And as soon as you use them, you can get your registry like pre-approved within days. And I think that's an amazing opportunity people have now, which didn't exist back in the days. So if you, so again, if you don't have brand registry, go ahead and register with one of these service providers, which are basically trademark attorneys. And as soon as they approve that you have applied with them, you can already go ahead and use brand registry.
That's good.
Yeah, I think so too. That's very good. And then when you have it, you can do stuff like this A+ content or enhanced brand content. So this gives you, access to a website-like product description, which looks like here on the right side of the screen. So you can really have you can use images, you can have different layout elements, like a picture on top and a description below, or, a big picture here and a big text here. So you can select from, I think, 8 or 7 different content types. Mm-hmm. And it's like a mini website creation tool. So on top you have this 900 by 600 image, which is like your branding image, like your header. And after that, you can select all kind of content modules, as you can see here. And then, you create this combinations of image and description. You're showing a benefit or a feature and you're explaining it. So I think this is very helpful, and it helps most of all with conversion, because when I'm looking at 2 bird cages as a customer and I cannot decide which one to buy, and one bird cage gives me this website-like product description, this A+ content, and the other one gives me, this kind of what you see here, the product description, which looks like this. I think it's pretty clear which one I would pick if there's no other reason. So everything else being equal, I think the A+ content wins, mile high. So that's why I think it's quite a good reason, and again, it's not easy. You have to create this mini website. If you have the skills to do it, that's great. If you don't have them, then you would need help. But I think it is worth it to create this kind of content. And you also can include a lot of keywords. So every image you upload here, there will be like a field where you can enter up to 100 characters of search terms. So, you can not only use these images, but you can also tag them with a lot of additional search terms and so forth. And the last module here, which is also very useful to have, is the template called comparison table. So as part of this A+ content, we can use this template, which will allow us to kind of put a comparison of several of our own products next to each other. So we can put a product image there, and then we can select like qualities like color, dimension, material. We can all create this ourselves. So we can decide what kind of features we want to compare. Let's say size or color, or I don't know, it's compatible with this and that, or it's made of this or that. So we can kind of be creative with our comparison table here. But this gives us a little catalog of our products onto our listing, which again generates traffic for other listings. So it's a great thing to cross-reference your own products and generate additional traffic for your other listings.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and then the last part of your listing creation is what happens on the back end, the so-called backend search terms. So there are many other fields and things available at the back end of your listing editor, where you can enter things like intentional use, target audience, and other attributes. But one of the most important one are the backend search terms. So you can add until, I think, another 200 bytes of text into this field, and you can put in all the search terms you didn't manage to use in your listing, in your title and your bullet points. You can, and they're still relevant from your research. You can just, put them into your backend search terms, and your listing will be indexed for those search terms as well.
So 200 bytes means 200 characters, or
almost, yeah. So if you use special characters, one character can have one then more byte, and that's why we are using a tool like this one. I'm also included the link here.
Mm-hmm.
So there are web tools which will tell you exactly how many bytes are these. So if you just copy paste your text, whatever it is,
yeah,
and mostly one character will be 1 byte. But special characters have, as I said, several bytes. So this tool will allow you to get it exactly right, so you don't exceed the 200 bytes. And yeah, that's another aspect of a listing every seller should use, to make use of these backend search terms and to fill up as much as possible out of these 200 bytes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I think that's like the 360 view. Say again?
That's very good information.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's, this is what I was doing with my listings, and it worked well. And from what I learned from other sellers and masterminds, I think these are definitely the basics we should master, creating our Amazon listings. And of course, we can extend, we can do more. We can dig deeper into, there are whole books about psychology of copywriting and persuasive copywriting and all that, and NLP, copywriting. So you could spend, your entire life optimizing your title and your bullet points. We don't want to do that. We want to get this 80%, right. And I think with this structure, what I presented here, I think we definitely get to this 80% where we cover most of the relevant parts. And then if we have the time or the resources, we can still play around with the rest. But before we start any ranking campaign and we start to actually want to generate sales, I think these are the things we need to think of and to get right.
Yeah, totally. And thank you so much for sharing your valuable information today. I'm sure it benefits
My pleasure.
People who are interested in selling on Amazon or already selling on Amazon. And also, a good news is that we are scheduling a live session this week, Friday. So EST time is 8 p.m. and PST it's 5 p.m. So we are looking forward to see you guys live, and we are gonna talk about ranking strategy on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Then Dano will be with us and sharing about his experience on Amazon and tips for you guys as well.
Yes, I will be sharing my ranking strategy. What is the next logical step after getting your listing right? You want to rank and get reviews, and I will share my experience and what I've learned about how to best rank your product.
Yes, so looking forward to see you guys this Friday, and thank you so much. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and there will be more video coming up. So thank you so much, Dano. So I will see you soon.
Thank you for having me. See you soon. See you on Friday.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye bye.